Subscribe to the 1010XL Jaguars YouTube channel. Looking for more in-depth coverage of the Gators? Need your FSU fix. Your favorite team, one specific location.
Now, the window world of Northeast Florida fifth quarter on 1010XL. Presented by Von Rowan Law. Here are your hosts, Ryan the Hacker Green, Leon Searcy, and Coach Campo.
Rolling to the right is Stroud. Fires it toward the goal line. Touchdown for Baalke with 18 seconds left in the ballgame. You called it, Tony, a play fake. They throw it to Baalke, and the Texans have taken a lead on a 1-yard touchdown pass with 18 seconds left in this ballgame.
Frank Franchi on the call, Jaguars radio, and with that, well, a very good Sunday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is the window world of Northeast Florida fifth quarter with Leon Searcy and Dave Campo, the hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. As always, we are presented by Von Rowan Law, the Jacksonville Jaguars, now 0-4 on the year. They have lost 9 of their last 10 regular season games. Trevor has lost the last 9 games he has played as the Jaguars starting quarterback. The Jaguars now find themselves basically 3.5 games behind the Houston Texans in the division. I guess that's everything, right? That'll be good for the first 30 seconds of this.
Breathe, Hack.
Oh, man. I got a lot of thoughts. Again, Leon Searcy, Dave Campo with me. Leon, the Pro Bowler, let's begin with you. Ton of thoughts about today's game, but let me say this right off the bat. I think Doug Pederson is a good coach. I'm not breaking any news there. The man has a Super Bowl. He has a ring on his finger, right? That proves that he is a good coach. It's not working. And I don't know if it's his fault. I don't know if it's Press Taylor's fault. I don't know if it's execution. I don't know what it is. Good football teams do not lose 9 out of 10. Average football teams do not lose 9 out of 10. And the Jacksonville Jaguars are finding a way to lose games, and Doug lost me today when he went for it on that 4th and goal.
It's a bad loss. This team's 0-4 with expectations coming to the season of winning the division and maybe making the playoffs. So those are out the window. I think for the most part of the game, comparable to what they played like Monday night, I thought they played better. I thought they played better on the offensive line. I thought they did what they wanted to do, get the ball out of Trevor's hands, run the ball, execute. The only problem I have down the stretch is that they couldn't execute. I know you have a big problem with the going for it on 4th down. I know they were trying to seal the deal. They went for it. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the execution of it. The execution of it was terrible. And you've got to understand in this game, it comes down to a game of inches. Teams lose and win games, but a game of inches, and that's what happened with that quarterback draw. Now, everybody in the country, including me, you, Coach Campo, I even said on the side, I said, are they going to run a quarterback draw on this play right here? Even the commentator said it on the TV. Wasn't executed well. So, I mean, that's what this team, I want to say a litany of follies, but I want to say that when it comes down to crunch time, they shrink. And that's what's disappointing about that. When it comes down to crunch time, when they got to get a win, they got to get a play, they shrink under pressure.
They have had 3 years, Coach, to figure out short yardage. 3 years. And after every game that they fail at short yardage, because they always do, inevitably they fail at short yardage, we just got to keep doing it. Got to go back and make the corrections and watch the film. I don't care about any of that. I don't think I'm going to play one soundbite this week from Doug Pederson or Trevor Lawrence. I don't care what they say anymore. It's just words at this point. You're not any good at short yardage. And you waste a Tank Bigsby 58-yard run by inexplicably having him on the field, running him into 1,000 pounds of Texan defensive linemen on 1st and goal. And then you literally run what looked like the same exact play on 2nd and goal. Then 3rd and goal was like a fade to Gabe Davis in the corner of the end zone that really didn't have a chance. And then to think that you were going to score when you were the worst short yardage team in the NFL, whether it's arrogance, ignorance, incompetence, whatever it is, oh my gosh, I was fuming when they went for it on that 4th down.
Well, it kind of surprised me. I know Doug. I mean, I know that that's kind of his mentality in that situation. But obviously, I think that was a little predictable when it went empty. My whole thing, look, I'm going to be somewhat positive. What they did on offense offensive line protected pretty good, but the way they did it was they ran the football and they play action passed, and they did what they thought was the best way to win the football game was to do that, to open up some big plays. They had a couple opportunities for big plays that were not executed, just like Leon said. 2 long passes. We got to make those throws. That's on Trevor. He had plenty of time on both of them. And then on defense, when you look at that game, they made the decision we can't play man-to-man every down like we did in the first few ball games. So they changed. They said, okay, we're going to play zone. We're going to try to balance it up a little bit. But they're playing cover 2, and they were so soft, we can't get pressure. That's the key. We're not pressuring the quarterback. But what they did do was they kept them from hitting the touchdown long plays, okay? They forced them up, underneath. They got some 20-yarders, whatever. But at the end, they had a chance to win with both of those philosophies. They just didn't execute down the stretch, and that's exactly how Leon put it.
You know, Leon, I remember last year when anybody made the claim that C.J. Stroud was better than Trevor Lawrence. Oh, my gosh. You were an idiot. You didn't know anything about football. You were the worst person ever. You're so negative. 10-10XL should have let you go. And I speak from experience because that's what I got when I said that. C.J. Stroud is head and shoulders better than Trevor Lawrence.
I agree.
There is no more argument. It's an older brother, little brother, and it's not even close. And I'll tell you this about Trevor Lawrence, man. Look, you can have opinions are great. I like to go with facts, and facts to me are statistics. Touchdowns, interceptions, completion percentage, attempts, completions. Trevor Lawrence is Daniel Jones. That's reality. If you look at Daniel Jones' numbers, you look at Trevor Lawrence's numbers, you black out the names, and you just look at completion percentage, touchdowns, interceptions, all that. Daniel Jones is better than Trevor Lawrence in almost every category. I'll say they're average, but Daniel's actually a little better. Those are the facts, man.
Fraternal twins, yeah.
Those are the facts.
And Daniel Jones has a win.
And Daniel Jones has a win over a team that beat you.
Yep.
And he went into Cleveland and beat them. So for anybody wanting to defend Trevor Lawrence right now, he's not above criticism. He is Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones is considered to be one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
And they overpaid for him, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trevor might have the worst contract in football. It's him or Deshaun Watson. Right now, that's the bottom line.
Yeah. I agree, bro. Absolutely. Because, I mean, when I was talking about shrinking in the biggest moments, Trevor has to make those throws. Now, the talk was that Coach said at the beginning of the week, he said, you know what, this offensive line is struggling. We got to get the ball out their hand. They got to run the ball first, but they need to get those quick throws, and then they get the protection so they can take their deep shots every now and then. And they did exactly what Coach said that they needed to do, and Trevor had ample opportunity to make those long, deep throws, and he came up short. Can't have that.
The miss to Brian Thomas Jr., all right, there was a corner, there was a safety, there was a window there, but you got to make that throw, making $55 million a year. The miss to Christian Kirk is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And look, I'm sorry if you're pressing because there's pressure on you that you're getting paid $55 million a year. I apologize. Life has gotten that tough that you're making $275 million a year and you may be pressing. I mean, I wish I had that problem, right? But when you get paid that much money, you have a responsibility to the organization, the team, the fan base, the coaches, everybody. And there's plenty of blame on Doug Pederson, plenty of blame on Press Taylor. But Doug Pederson and Press Taylor seemed to draw up a pretty good play when Christian Kirk was wide open and would have walked into the end zone. And when the $55 million man, not named Ted DiBiase from the WWE, but named Trevor Lawrence, overthrows you by 3 yards, holy crap, what a terrible throw that was.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to look at it and say there's no question that Trevor's not playing up to what everybody said he was going to play at, and that's on him. I mean, and let me just put it this way. He didn't write his own check. The organization wrote the check. He can't, he's got to say, okay, it isn't my fault that they wrote the check. It's my fault that I'm not executing the way I should, and I have to get better. I've got to find a way to get better. That's all he can do. So, really getting that upset with Trevor Lawrence about money is not the issue. You get upset with Trevor when he's not executing the way he needs to execute.
Well, the excuse has been this week that he's pressing because of the contract.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that's not an excuse. Listen, I don't see him pressing about anything. I see him just not executing when he has the opportunity. I don't know about pressing. I thought last week he pressed a little bit because he was a little bit gun shy. They were on him. Today, he just didn't execute.
Leon, there's just so many things that you can speak of on the last 4 games. I mean, this team should absolutely be 2-2, maybe 3-1. I mean, a guaranteed 1-3, and they've found ways to lose 3 of these 4 games. Bad teams find ways to lose, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are probably the worst team in the NFL right now.
Without a question.
They're only one of 2 winless teams. It's them and the Titans play tomorrow night. If Tennessee wins, Jacksonville will be the only winless team in the NFL.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad because, listen, every team in the offseason has expectation of what they want to be about. And we were excited. We drank the Kool-Aid. We was at the training camp. We saw them bring in the acquisitions from free agency and draft a wide receiver and all this kind of stuff. And we thought that this team was not going to be this bad. I did not anticipate this team being 0-4, but you are what you eat. This team has been dysfunctional, unaccountable. Now, I'm not talking about I'm just talking about as far as the seasons go. Dysfunctional, not accountable, not tough, not physical, lack of execution, all that kind of stuff. So those are the factors that you can say all the coaching you want, but you've got to find some men that want to play the game and get tired of losing. It comes down to that, Hack. And you got to find some guys in that locker room who are sick and tired of losing.
See, now again, I already got this on social media. Hacker scapegoating Trevor. CJ misses throws and still wins. Trevor misses throws and it's a disaster. CJ has a better GM, better coach, better offensive line. Now let's examine that for a second. CJ has a better coach. D'Amico Ryans was a great defensive player, right? Great defensive player. Trevor Lawrence is a former 13-year NFL quarterback as his head coach and Doug Pederson. Now, if you want to talk about the offensive coordinator, that's fine, but don't give me, for quarterback purposes, that D'Amico Ryans working with quarterbacks is better than Doug Pederson. And the offensive line that you say is better than the Jaguars' offensive line committed 1 billion penalties today in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
But amazingly, C.J. Stroud, on the 97 times he had 2nd and 20 and 3rd and 18, seemed to convert an overwhelming majority of those, where if Trevor was in that situation, you might as well send Logan Cook out there on 2nd or 3rd down, because you don't have a prayer of gaining 20 yards in 3 plays. Don't give me the Texans have a better offensive line and a better coach, because they have a defensive-minded coach and an offensive line that committed 1 billion penalties, yet C.J. Stroud, Dave Campo, was able to overcome those.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, I think you're right. I think, to put it on the coach and all that stuff, you can be mad at him for going for certain things and situations and all that. But Stroud showed today that he can operate in and out of the pocket. If he's not getting a lot of pressure, he steps up. He's always looking downfield. If he gets any kind of pressure, he gets on the move, and he's always looking downfield. He had an opportunity to run some, but why run when you're in cover 2 and you got all kinds of time, no pressure? He scrambles out, no pressure on him, and he throws the ball 25 yards down the field for a first down. I mean, at this point right now, you look at those 2 quarterbacks, you got to say there's no question who the better guy is right now, and that's C.J. Stroud.
No, it's not even close. And we got to go quick here. We got loaded phone lines. We'll take you. We're with you till 8 o'clock tonight. There's not going to be a lot of positive, nor should there be, but the one positive, Leon, I'll give, one on each side of the ball. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be a stud. Ventrell Miller might be their best linebacker. All right, now, maybe a Lewican. When Devin Lloyd comes back, I got to tell you something, man. And Leon, you're the 10-year plus vet in the NFL. You tell me. I noticed 51 out there today making more plays in the backfield that I've noticed 33 making for a long, long time here in Jacksonville. I thought Ventrell Miller was fantastic.
Well, the team coach is going to do the evaluation. They say you're never supposed to lose your job over an injury. But if he's playing well, then Lloyd could be on the chopping block. At this point, you're 0-4. You're going to try to get the best players out there on the field, no matter what. Seniority doesn't have any play when you're losing as many games as this team's been losing.
You came in here, and that's the first thing you said was Ventrell Miller.
Yeah, Ventrell, I've liked Ventrell from the very beginning, because the one thing I saw of him early in training camp was on the snap of the football, he was moving. Now, initially, I made the comment, I don't know if he's going in the right that ball moves, he moves. Well, when you see him make plays like he made today, there's no question he was the best linebacker that we've seen in the first 4 ball games because he was on the move, he was making tackles, he was in the backfield on running plays. The guy's got instincts and he's fast, and he's faster than a Lewican. He's faster than a Lewican. I don't know if he's faster than 33, but 33's instincts aren't as good, in my opinion, in watching him this year, watching Ventrell.
641-1010 is the phone number. We got loaded phone lines. Justin, Gary, Jonathan, Jr., the rest of you guys hang in there. You'll be up on the other side. The Jaguars are 0-4, and I believe I saw the stat. Only one team in the history of the NFL, I believe it was back in 1992, started 0-4 and made the playoffs. There are 13 games left. 13 games. And the Jaguars basically have no shot of making the postseason. And that's a sad state of affairs. We are in football hell right now, ladies and gentlemen. Between the Florida Gators, the Florida State Seminoles, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, we are combined 3-10. Of course, Campo and Searcy have the U, so you guys are living large at 5-0. Although I'm not sure if you won the game Friday night, but that's neither here nor there. The referee said you did. But yeah, the Gators, Seminoles, and Jaguars are all 3-10. Let's be miserable together. Here on the Window World of Northeast Florida, 5th quarter, we're presented by Von Rowan Law, Offensive Player of the Game, and your phone calls, which I absolutely cannot wait for, are coming up next right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Hey, John, my dad, Randy Marion's gone absolute Cadillac crazy. You won't believe our Escalade lineup.
Well, how crazy we talking, Jennifer?
Buckle up, folks. We've got over 35 Cadillac Escalades.
35 Escalades? That's luxury overload.
I'm talking fully loaded models, cutting-edge tech, and that signature Cadillac style.
And the deals are even more luxurious. $4,000 Escalade loyalty rebate.
Plus 5% off MSRP on retired courtesy vehicles. Head to Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
Plus tax, tag, title, 899 MNP and resistol.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
Mia here. We are getting so much love through the text line with people cashing in at MyBookie. I've been betting too, and it makes the game so much more fun. This weekend, the Vikings visit the Packers in a divisional game. Both defenses have been awesome this year. Give me the under 45.5 at MyBookie. Your home team, meanwhile, an underdog on the road in H-Town. If you're into winning money, take that bet. Texans -6.5, although the line has shifted a bit. And on Sunday Night Football, I see nothing but fireworks between the Bills and the Ravens. Give me the over 46.5. For a limited time, MyBookie is bringing back the double deposit bonus. Use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit. Double that money with promo code 1010XL before you even place a bet. Sign up using that promo code in order to make some big money this football season. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere, and make your season a winning season with MyBookie.
Your car is like part of your family. It takes you to work, drops the kids off at school, goes with you on vacation. You feel safe in your car, but all that can change in an instant due to someone else's carelessness. Now you need money for medical bills, car repairs, lost wages. You need help, and you need it now. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us at 396-5555. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family since 1979. Jacksonville.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my take on the Weekend with Dan. Find it on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan, brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Being an athlete means having a healthy desire to do as much as you can with your body. For as long as you can. Gatorade has lower sugar, electrolyte-backed hydration options to keep you rehydrated and replenished. Gatorade, for every athlete.
From Gatorade Zero to Gatorade Endurance Formula and Gator Light, there's something for every athlete. Find it at your local Winn-Dixie. It's a win-win. Gatorade, official partner of the NFL.
While
John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage too.
ClearwaterJags.com.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a dandy. And do it today.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, putting an extra 60 minutes on the clock. The window world of Northeast Florida fifth quarter. Presented by Von Rowan Law on 1010XL.
They run it to the right. It's going to be a pass, an option pass. Instead, he kept the ball, and he's going to run it into the end zone. They handed it on reverse to Stephon Diggs. He looked like he wanted to throw it back to Stroud. It was an option pass. It wasn't there, so Diggs just turned it upfield and ran it in for a 6-yard touchdown.
Yeah, that was an interesting play. Stephon Diggs is running to the sideline, making a cell phone call, planning his dinner, then realized nobody was open, so he just said, you know what, I'm just going to run 7 yards into the end zone for a touchdown.
Did you see what happened on that side? Did he ran it in?
Well, I saw, was it one of the corners just ran to get Stroud?
Corner went for the quarterback,
Yeah.
and so did number 56.
Oh, man.
They both ran out there, and there was nobody containing the football on that side.
We'll get to the phone callers in a moment, just a comedy of errors. But every week here on the fifth quarter, we do give you an offensive player of the game. That offensive player of the game is brought to you by our friends at Universal Roof and Contracting. And RJ Saunders, let's do it right now. Universal Roof and Contracting's offensive player of the game.
Universal Roof and Contracting presents the offensive player of the game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
6 catches, 86 yards, and a touchdown. Brian Thomas Jr., one of the positives today. And Leon Searcy, I think it's safe to say he's going to be wide receiver 1 very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah, he's a stud already. Absolutely. His rookie year, he's a stud. He had 86 yards. He could have had 150 yards if the ball was thrown correctly. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the only other one that even competes with him in this game was Bigsby. You know, to have 90 yards rushing on 7 carries, that's a pretty good day. So I think, you know, those two guys really came to the front.
Yeah, well, he's very good. Kirk had a good game.
Yeah.
Boy, how much better could BTJ and Christian Kirk's numbers be if Trevor Lawrence could hit them on wide-open deep passes for touchdowns? It would just be an amazing increase in their yardage and receptions and my fantasy football outlook this year in a couple of leagues. No question about that. All right, a lot of people want to get on board. I said this last week at 1:30 in the morning. I'll say it again. We're all adults here. I know we're fired up. I know we're angry, but keep it PG. We might even let you get away. No, we can't even do PG-13. We'll just say PG, all right? Because we're on a delay anyway, and if you say something you're not supposed to say, no one on the radio is going to hear it, and we'll dump it, and we'll probably have to block your number. And we don't want to do that because we enjoy all the callers here. You know what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say. Let's keep it clean. Let's go to Mariana to kick things off here on the fifth quarter. Let's get Justin in here on 1010XL. Justin, what do you got?
Hey guys, how you doing? Hey, first off, we appreciate you guys letting us be a sounding board on such a horrible day.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you guys for providing us some guidance on this topic. So what do you have for us tonight?
So first of all, I think you're absolutely correct. I'm a Trevor fan, but a lot of bad decisions by Trevor today. A couple of bad throws. I really think maybe he could have pulled that second down play deep and maybe pulled that read option and run it in himself. But my bigger problem is, you know, I'm a lifelong fan. I'm a season ticket holder. I'm 3 hours away. And that 3 hours in and 3 hours out, it's really getting hard to justify. And one of the reasons is I feel like our team kind of runs like a Dollar Tree. We go into free agency every year and we look for the best value. We never go after the best available at a position. That was really, really clear today. up Darby, and also Nico kind of ate up Darby too. But it feels like in free agency we never go after these guys that the media says we should have a shot at. I just wanted you guys' thoughts on, is that really hurting our depth on roster, because it's a talent acquisition business, and I feel like we're just not getting the best talent.
Justin, appreciate the phone call. I told this to Coach Campo, Leon, a little earlier. I want to get both of your thoughts on it. So this offseason, this is what Trent Baalke did. And I don't blame him, but you want to know what Shad Khan's probably upset? What, almost $500 million in extensions to Trevor Lawrence, Hines Allen, Campbell, and Aluakin, right? Trevor Lawrence is not very good right now. Hines Allen has 1 sack, and now he's in concussion protocol, and we hope he gets better, obviously. Aluakin's on IR. Campbell's on IR. The free agents he brought in, Savage has missed 3 games with a quad that he hurt in practice. Eric Armstead has done basically nothing in the last 3 games. Gabe Davis, I believe, had 1 catch for 5 yards today. And the owner just keeps handing out money to this GM who just keeps bringing in these guys, and they're not getting any return on their investment.
Yeah, because we don't have any splash free agents. That's the whole thing. And we've had to go after free agents. I mean, Shad Khan he said it in the offseason. He said he's tired of spending all this money on free agents. You have to start developing the talent that's already there in the draft. Because you're supposed to draft well. If you draft well, you don't have to go into free agency, because the guys that you have in the draft, you develop them and they're starters. So when you go into free agency spending a whole bunch of money, that means that you missed on guys in the draft that you didn't develop. So go ahead, Coach.
Go ahead.
No. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why there's a frustration, and the fact that you put out a boatload of money and those guys are either underwhelming or underperforming or hurt.
And I think Justin's analysis is pretty good. I mean, that is what they've done, and I think part of it is that idea that they were going to pay the quarterback, they were going to pay the rusher, they were going to, they paid Ingram, they paid the lineman. When you do that, keeping your guys, you can't just go out and get every guy that comes off the wire. So the decision making is made based on what you're doing with your own guys and what you got out there.
More phone calls in a moment. I'm just going to ask you something that I probably should have asked you for the last couple of weeks. You're the only former NFL head coach that I have an opportunity to speak with, so you're a good source on the topic. The Doug Pederson Press Taylor thing, the play calling. Who's calling the plays, who's not calling the plays. Who cares? Whatever they're doing doesn't appear to be working very often. Why has Doug allowed that to become such a story? What do you make of that whole thing? Because he was asked about it again today, and he got kind of salty with the media again about it. He keeps getting asked about it. We don't know who's calling the plays. We really don't know what's going on because they won't tell us. And as a former head coach, why has it gotten to this point?
Well, I think it's because, number one, I think he feels like, and he's not going to come out and say it, he feels like that the quarterback and a bunch of these guys are not making the plays that they need to make. So he's getting upset that people are questioning who's calling the plays. I think he's stubborn, because I think he could have handled the situation better, because if he had just not said anything about it, and the very first game against Miami, if he'd have called the plays in the first half, there would be no question about anything that went on here. So from a stubbornness standpoint, I think he's being stubborn now. But I think deep down inside, he wants to say this football team is not executing, and it's not because we're calling the plays wrong. It's because we're not executing the plays that we're given.
Leon, seriously, over 10 years in this league, that's gotten weird at this point. It's beyond weird, the whole Doug Pederson Press Taylor thing.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, and it's a distraction, an unnecessary distraction. The last thing that needs to be happening, I mean, you're playing bad enough, all right? So now you're going to include the fact that who's making the calls, who's not making the calls. I mean, be a professional. Just say, hey, listen, this guy's making the calls or I'm making the calls, and it's done with. And you're not having the reason why this is being brought up is probably because of that fourth down play where you run a quarterback draw. Now, if he walks in the end zone, we're up 10, and we win the game. I mean, we're not having the same conversation, but because it failed so mightily, because the center didn't slam the D tackle and then go to the linebacker, then Ezra Cleveland gets beat inside. I mean, even Trevor there was room outside, but inside to run the draw, he was going to get tackled either way.
The biggest thing to me is that I would have bet a lot of money, and I said it on a bunch of shows, I'm sure, after the season last year. I would have bet a lot of money that he would have taken the play calling over. That way he said, I know what has to happen. I'm going to fix it. That would have been one way to say, okay, I'm taking it over. That's it. And he didn't do that. So now it became a question every week. Who's calling him? What's going on? His lips are moving. His lips aren't moving. It's just become a distraction, just like Leon just said.
They've scored 6 touchdowns in 24 quarters. 6 offensive touchdowns. In an offensive game that is designed to help the offense score, right? The Jaguars have scored 6 touchdowns in 24 quarters. To the south side we go. Let's get Gary in here on the 5th quarter. Gary, what's going on?
Hey guys, Ryan, congratulations on the weight loss. I'm happy for you, buddy. I've lost 40 myself.
Oh, good. Congratulations, pal. Thank you.
Thank you. I hear every week on the pregame, Hayes Carline says what a talented roster they are. And Leon, you can speak to this. Talented rosters aren't none every week that let any little bit of adversity affect them. Can't they draft a fullback like the Dolphins did with Alex Ingold? Like you said, Ryan, 3 years in a row they've had problems in short yardage and can't fix it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Normally tough teams don't allow that to continue, and I'll hang up and listen to you guys answer.
Gary, appreciate it. The reason I think we probably need a coaching change at this point, I mean, you guys tell me. You did the job. You played for greats like Tom Coughlin and Bill Cowher and Brian Billick and Jimmy Johnson go on down the line. Coach's job, particularly in this position, is to get your franchise quarterback better. Trevor Lawrence has not gotten better. Trevor Lawrence has regressed from year 1 of Doug Pederson to year 3. He's worse than he was 2 years ago. That's a problem. The other job that a coach is supposed to do is to improve areas where the team has struggled. What are the Jaguars better at doing now than they weren't in 2022? What have they improved on in 2 years with this roster? Where are they clearly better 24 months removed from where they were in 2022? Leon, I don't think they're better anywhere. I don't think the quarterback is better. I think he's worse. I mean, that's an indictment that I just cannot get over when it comes to Doug Pederson, Press Taylor, whoever else you want to blame.
Just think about how far away we were when the Jaguars played Kansas City and KC in the playoffs, and Trevor was on that ramp, and he gave everybody high fives as they were going by.
Yeah.
That's how close we were to the. And I was saying to myself, you know what? That team right there is going to one day, it's going to be where the Chiefs are. And how wrong have I been? I mean, last year's collapse, this year's debacle. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, at some point, Doug, if I can look in that and see it, Shaq Khan is going to be looking at it like, where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong? From when Trevor was in the tunnel after the KC game, high-fiving everybody like, hey, we're going to be back to where we are right now.
I remember Zay Jones on the sideline. We're going to be fine, Trevor. We're going to be just fine. And then all the injuries last year, Zay was shown the door, and Ridley came in for 1 year, a 1-year rental. Now, Brian Thomas Jr. looks like he's going to be a stud. It's not all bad, Coach, right. But I think that's a fair point. Where are they better now than they were 2 years ago?
Well, they're not.
Anywhere.
Well, they're not better. They're not playing better. Now, I've looked at this roster, and I said, well, we've got some pretty good players here. We should be okay. We're not playing like it. The game comes down to a few plays in the game, and especially at the end when you have to, when you really need it. Leon uses the term shrinking. They shrink.
Yeah.
We have not been able to make the plays that we need to make when it's critical. We've made other plays. I mean, the running game today was pretty darn good. But when it's nut-cutting time, we are not making plays when it counts. Excuse my language.
Yeah, about to say, RJ, we'll save that one for Hacker After Dark. That'll be Coach's intro.
Drop that one, will you? My wife is watching the show.
No, that was good stuff.
So,
yeah, go ahead, Leon.
What the caller was saying about talking about all the time, they're paper champions. I mean, they look good on paper, but that don't win games. I mean, anytime you can say this team is the best assembled team in Jaguar history, on what merit? On what merit? They ain't done nothing. Right now, that best team is 0-4.
By the way, a lot of your former teammates were ticked about that. Did you see Seth Payne on social media?
What'd he say?
Basically saying they would obliterate, the 99 team would obliterate this team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, ain't nobody on this team can make that team.
Yeah.
How about that?
Now, what I think Shad meant, I don't know this, because unfortunately I haven't spoken to Shad.
Came out of his mouth.
Yeah, but I think he probably meant since he took over, would be my assumption.
Yeah.
But I don't think he really thought they were better than the 99 team.
Well,
and on paper, this roster should be the best roster he's had since he took over.
Well, before you make those kind of comments, make sure you take a history class.
Yeah.
Back to the phone lines we go. 641-1010. Let's go up to Buffalo. Get Junior in here on the 5th quarter. Oh, Junior, how are you, sir?
Not good. Not good. I'm still reeling from Monday night, trying to hide. But it's going out for Trevor Lawrence. I backed Trevor Lawrence from the get-go. But, Trevor, if you're feeling pressure, come live in Buffalo, New York, where I live. Talk about pressure, walking around as a Jaguar fan in Buffalo, New York. You don't know anything about pressure, my friend. Okay, you got to grow a set, my friend. You got to get out there and be the quarterback. You're the one who signed that big contract. No one else, no one broke your arm or forced you to sign that contract. You took on that, so you knew the pressure. Once you signed your name on that contract to get $55 million a year, you knew what was going to happen to you. And then you come out and give us the performance again and again and again. How you doing? You need to come in early. You need to go late at that practice facility. You need to watch more film. You need to ask wide receivers from the practice squad or your own wide receiver to stay after a little bit and throw some passes to make those, because you had two guys wide open. Those are touchdown passes from any other quarterback in the league. That should be automatic. You've been throwing those passes since you were a little kid. Come on. And we got C.J. Stroud, second-year player, taking his team down the field in less than 3 minutes, and you can't get a first down and try to save this game for us. Now we're going to have old man Flacco come out off the bench again and beat us on our own field after the coach haven't won here since 2012. Give me a break about pressure. Give me a break. I'm sick and tired of this. It's hard to be a Jaguar fan, but I'm sticking with them. But I need help from you, Trevor. Thank you.
I think they've broken Junior, ladies and gentlemen. I think Junior's
a broken man.
Jaguar broken right now. Look, I'm not saying Trevor's the worst quarterback ever, because he's not. Some of those throws he made to Brian Thomas across the middle, the touchdown to Kirk, there were some good things Trevor did. But at $55 million a year, you can't miss those wide open guys down the field. You just can't. The quarterbacks in your tier group are Mahomes, Herbert, Burrow, Dak, Hurts, all those guys. Every one of them would have completed that pass.
Yeah, there's no question about it. That's the difference. And to me, it's not like he's just stinking up the joint. He's just not making the throws that he needs to make to win football games. That's the bottom line right there. And Junior, I love you. You listen. They need a little bit of that in the locker room, because there's obviously something missing on this team. Because there's decent players on this team that aren't operating when they need to operate. And that's the bottom line right there.
Let's squeeze one more in on this side. If you're on the line, we will get to you again. We're with you till 8 o'clock, Jacksonville. Jonathan's been on hold forever. Let's get Jonathan. Jonathan, I'm so sorry you've had to endure Florida State on Saturday and now the Jaguars on Sunday. Your football season's not very good right now.
No, and I'm really annoyed. I mean, as a Jaguar fan, I thought we were past this. I mean, Trevor's got to hit those throws, and the defense played okay, not great at all. But I'm just telling you, I am so fed up with this. I mean, I've stood behind Trevor, and I'm going to continue to stand behind Trevor. But he's got to make the throws. I mean, you've got to step up in the pocket and make those throws. I mean, I am really fed up, and it's not going to get any better next week. I just know it won't. I mean, because Joe Flacco's coming in here off the street, and I have a feeling he's going to light us up.
Jonathan, appreciate it. By the way, for those that don't know, Anthony Richardson left the Colts game with a hip injury, did not come back. Of course, the Colts come in here on Sunday. Joe Flacco, who put a 30-burger on the Jaguars last year, probably will get the start. Again, we don't know that. That's the assumption. And that's going to be unfortunate, too. And this was something to be talked about during the week, and we got to go quick here, Leon. But your guy, TC, is going into the Pride next week. They're wearing the throwbacks. Next week should be a celebration. At 0-4, man, there's probably going to be some empty seats on Sunday.
Yeah, play with some pride. I mean, one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach in Jaguar history, is going in a ring of honor. You got to play with some pride in that game. I hope.
And the Colts haven't won here in a decade.
True facts.
TC going into the Pride. You're wearing the throwbacks. Colts haven't won here since 2014. Raise your hand if you're picking the Jaguars to win next week.
No.
There's not one hand being raised in the studio right now. Window World of Northeast Florida brings you the fifth quarter. We're being presented by Von Rowan Law. We'll come back with a defensive player of the game. That should be pretty self-explanatory. Your phone calls continuing. We're with you till 8 o'clock. 0-4, Jacksonville. Welcome back to the black hole of the National Football League, a tradition unlike any other since the start of the 2012 season when Shad Khan bought the team. The Jacksonville Jaguars have played 199 regular season football games. They've lost 139 of them. They are 60-139 since the start of 2012.
1010XL. Home of the Florida Gators.
Before termites attack your home or business and cause costly damage, Terminix it. At Terminix, we know how to stop termites. These destructive pests have been around for millions of years, but before they show up, so do we. And their time is up. Don't live with a termite problem? Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TerMinix.com. TerMinix.com. Terminix it.
Injured in an accident that's not your fault? Don't worry, Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan at Von Rowan Law, and over the past 20 years, I have fought to recover millions for my clients throughout Jacksonville. If you've been injured in an accident, have mounting medical bills, can't work, don't worry. Zach's got your back. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve and will be there every step of the way. Go to Zach'sGotYourBack.com to set up your free consultation with me today. Zach'sGotYourBack.com.
Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more, and please drink responsibly.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy Subs and Sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a dandy. And do it today.
It's the Sporting Jacks Soccer Hour. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley as they discuss the latest in the world of soccer, including Sporting Jacks bringing pro men's and women's soccer to Jacksonville. Tuesday nights at 6 on 1010 a.m.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the president of Underwoods. One of the biggest changes we've seen in fine jewelry over the last 25 years has been the growth of jewelry designers. At Underwoods, we're the leader, bringing to North Florida the best names in designer jewelry. In fact, we carry designer lines in a similar way to how clothing stores carry designer labels. The difference is that jewelry designers have to be a little more timeless in their presentations because nobody wants to buy a fine piece of jewelry only to find out the next year it's gone out of style. That's why you'll find at Underwoods the best of the jewelry designer names, those that are tried and true and popular. Names like David Yerman, Roberto Coin, John Hardy, Marco Bichigo, Jude Francis, Lagos, Hippolyta, and a lot more are all available right now at Underwoods. So if you want the best looks in designer jewelry, stop by Underwoods, San Marco, Avondale, or the shops upon Avedra.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Bringing you an extra quarter of football.
The window world of Northeast Florida fifth quarter. Presented by Von Rowan Law on 1010XL.
There's the punt, end over end punt. Sims falls for the fair catch. He fumbled it. The ball is on the ground. The Jags pick it up. They're going to run it into the end zone. I don't think you can advance that, but the Jags are going to have the ball inside the 5-yard
Frangie on the call, Jaguars radio. They capitalized on that, the Brian Thomas Jr. touchdown right after. To go up 7-0, that was nice. Ultimately did not last, though. Houston wins the game 24-20. Your phone calls coming up. Nathan, Michael, Reggie, Tommy, all you guys hang in there. Every week here in the fifth quarter, we do give you a defensive player of the game. That defensive player of the game is brought to you by our friends at Superior Fence and Rail. RJ Saunders, let's do it now. The Superior Fence and Rail defensive player of the game.
Jacksonville's building a fence along the goal line. This is the Superior Fence and Rail defensive player of the game. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
Ventrell Miller started today for Foye Aluakin. Ventrell Miller, well, he was a beast. 11 total tackles, 8 solo, 1 tackle for loss. I'll tell you this, short sample size, 1 game, but I noticed 51 a lot more today than I've noticed a lot of other linebackers this year, Coach.
Yeah, well, he's got instincts and he can run. So you put the two together. You know, I didn't watch it. I couldn't tell you every play as far as his pass defense and all that, but as far as the ability to go get the football, he's done that since the day he got into training camp. I felt like the one thing I saw, even when I didn't know exactly if he was going in the right spot all the time, because it's kind of hard to tell sometimes, but when the ball is snapped, he's moving, which tells me that he has an instinct of where the ball is going to be and where it's going. And a couple of those plays he made on the perimeter now were big-time plays. And so, you know, I'm encouraged by him, as long as he can stay healthy.
Leon, by and large, the offensive line as a whole, did you give him a passing grade today?
Today, yeah, absolutely. I said this after the Monday night game. You're gonna be able to. You're gonna tell. A lot about this team is going to be determined by how they play on Sunday, especially offensive line, because they was embarrassed in that game. They were literally embarrassed. They couldn't protect, they couldn't run, they penalties and all that kind of stuff. They played solid. They absolutely played solid. If I was to give, I would give them a B. The only reason why they didn't get an A is because, like I said, when we need you the most, you failed us on that quarterback draw. Getting beat inside, not slamming the D tackle, then going to the linebacker, that kind of stuff. You've got, especially in those, you've got to execute at a high level. You can't afford those kind of mistakes. I mean, I know the other team gets beat. I know the other team gets paid as well, but everybody knows as an offensive line, when you run draw, the first thing the offensive line coach tell you to do is to set inside. Set hard inside. Can't get beat inside if the ball's going inside with the quarterback's running in the middle. Can't let it happen.
How satisfying was that for Foley Fatukasi, former Jaguar? I'm pretty sure he was the one that blew up that play.
Yeah. But see, if Mitch Morse was doing this job, Foley Fatukasi should have been on the back of his head, because he was supposed to get slammed, then go.
I think it was Brandon Sheriff too. I don't think 68 did very well on that play either.
No, it was all bad.
It was very reminiscent of, the safety that happened here in Jacksonville, which I think was Mitch Morse and Ezra Cleveland. Yeah. This time it was Mitch Morse and Brandon Sheriff.
They're taking turns.
They are taking turns. Let's go back to the phone lines here on the fifth quarter. We're 0-4, but we're all here experiencing it together, and isn't that nice and wonderful? Let's go to Fernandina Beach. Let's get Michael in here on 1010XL. Michael, what do you got?
Hey, Hack, sirs, Coach, I love you guys, man. Thank you for doing what you do. First, I do want to say that 99 team is the best team we have ever had, ever will have. Big Sirs, you're a dog. I love you, brother. Speaking of dogs, when you've got a quarterback who has every physical tool, but he don't got that dog in him, what is it like as a player, as a coach, as a fan? What do we do? Where do we go? Thanks, guys. I love y'all.
Michael, appreciate the phone call. Trevor's never going to be the rah-rah guy. This is year 4 for him. I mean, he is who he is. You know, he's not going to get in anybody's face like Baker Mayfield or Patrick Mahomes. You can't do that if it's not you, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I understand what the caller was trying to say as far as dog go. Mark Brunell wasn't a rah-rah guy either. But we knew Mark Brunell was a dog because we seen him take us places in big moments and big games. So we knew that in that huddle, as long as we had 8, I call him Lefty, as long as we had 8 in the crucial moment, he was going to take us there. So that's what Trevor has to develop. He doesn't have to be a rah-rah guy. He just got to, when it matters the most, you got to come through in the clutch. That's when you become a dog.
And really, to be honest with you, we thought we had it with that game where he threw 4 interceptions against San Diego, and then
always be San Diego to you, Coach.
Yeah. We thought we had it. And that's really what we're talking about here. He has not demonstrated that trait, which we thought he had. And that's why when you're talking about him regressing, that's what he's done. He's not the same guy for some reason.
Where is he at?
Yeah.
Where is that Trevor Lawrence?
Well, that's the thing. Look, if you want to keep Doug Pederson, I'll totally have a conversation with you, and I'll hear you out. And we'll have a nice, civilized discussion. But at the end of the day, just answer me one question about Doug Pederson, because Trevor's here. Trevor's got that contract. Trevor ain't going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Trevor's the guy. Doug does not have that luxury. Why is this team worse now than they were in 2022? That's all I want you to tell me. And if it's not Doug Pederson's fault, and you think it's not his fault, then maybe you can explain that to me. But the team is worse in every facet of football. I really mean that. I'm not sure they're better anywhere right now than they were 2 years ago. They have regressed in every facet of football. To the south side we go. Let's get Nathan in here on the fifth quarter on 1010XL. Nathan, what do you got?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a rough day today, but just wanted to talk to you guys about Trevor Lawrence a little bit. So I was looking up the stats. 54% completion percentage today, which is just completely unacceptable. I mean, Bryce Young had a higher completion ratio than Trevor Lawrence does, and he's benched after 2 years, and we paid this guy $250 million of dollars. So, it's one of those things, like, I don't really have a problem with them drafting him first overall. For 3 years, I defended this guy to my dad who didn't like him. And at this point, it's like, you know what? Whoever paid him that much money and we're stuck with this guy for this long has got to pay a price. I mean, I don't know how Baalke is not fired today. Or how ownership can't go to the coach and say, hey, someone needs to be fired, because I just went and said this is the most talented team in the world, that Jacksonville's ever had in 30 years, and now we're 0-4 and we're stinking it up.
Nathan, appreciate the phone call. Let me go to Coach Campo here. 0-4. People say, well, fire the coach. You can't do it now, and I'll tell you why. Tom Coughlin's going into the Pride next week, okay? You're not going to do anything that's going to overshadow TC going into the Pride. And then you're going to London for 2 weeks. You're going across the Atlantic over the pond to London for 2 weeks. You can't do it then either. Now, if you come back from London at 2-5 or 1-6, then at that point, I think something's going to happen. But, Coach, correct me if I'm wrong. The next 3 weeks, you literally cannot do anything, probably because of your schedule.
Well, first of all, going to London is probably the best thing that can happen to this team, and that's exactly what we said 2 years ago.
Yeah, and last year.
And we kind of fired back a little bit at that point. You can't do anything right now. Like I said earlier, I think Doug is just as frustrated with Trevor as all the fans are. The problem that you have is if they go into this next game, and you said it, we're getting ready to play, and Coach Coughlin's going in the Ring of Honor here, and if we only have 40,000 people in the stands, when the fans start demonstrating that things aren't going well, that's when everybody takes notice, because the teams are here for the public and the owner's money, and the owner's paying all the money. So it comes down to the fans.
But heck, I think because it's TC, I think that the fans, because he is beloved here, but not only the coaching, but the stuff he does in the community, I think they'll show up anyway because TC's going in the ring.
I hope so. I definitely hope so. There's no question about that. Let's go to Neptune Beach, get Tommy in here on the fifth quarter. Tommy, what's going on?
Hey, appreciate you taking my call, guys. First off, Doug looks like he's checked out. He needs a Leon Searcy all-poster cigar. And I'm going to beat the drum. We should definitely be building from the inside out. I mean, interior line, defensive line. The best. We haven't had a Pro Bowler offensive lineman since Big Bo drafted the Jags. And we don't have anybody even close to Searcy on the right tackle. So, all I got to say is I hope we can build from the inside out, and I don't think Baalke's a guy, but, I appreciate the hospitality, and go Jags.
Tommy, appreciate it. There's a thought making the rounds because, look, we're we're at the point now we need to start talking about the future, and I'm not sure if Doug Pederson or Press Taylor are going to be involved in that. There's a thought making the rounds that Shad Khan made that point about the roster being the best that it's ever been. Again, I think he meant to say the best since he's been here, but whatever. Which means to tell you that he thinks Baalke has done a good job because the roster is good. And maybe the roster is not being developed because of the coaching. Is there any way Baalke gets a third head coach here? He was here with Urban. He's been here with Doug. Are they really going to do this again where Baalke stays on if they bring in another coach?
I think if they make a move, they make a move with the whole operation.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I think if the grenade is going to go off, it's going to go off in his office and in Doug's.
Let's get one more in here in the 6 o'clock hour. Again, we're with you till 8 o'clock. Steve, Michael, both Michaels that are on. We'll get both you guys coming up here in just a moment. Let's go to the west side. Get Reggie in here on 1010XL. Reggie, what's going on?
How you doing, guys?
Oh, Reggie, if I was any better, man, I just don't know what I'd do.
Okay. I feel your pain. Lifelong Jaguar fan here, and I'm going to be quick. The problem is coaching. It's coaching and it's the front office. I mean, from my beliefs, they just, ever since that first half in Miami, I haven't seen them motivated outside of a few drives from the day. We've seen life. But other than that, I haven't seen no motivation. They playing flat, like it's no camaraderie in the locker room. I don't want to say they gave up, but a lot of the guys are playing like, they just going out there and getting a check right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe everybody is bought into Doug's plan. I don't want to. I like Doug a lot. I don't want to say fire him, but it's getting worse. And it's not just Doug. I believe it's partly the GM too. I can't get his name out. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, Trent Baalke.
Trent Baalke. I don't even like saying his name, but he's making a lot of bad decisions, and it's putting us into a deeper hole than we already are. Decisions that he's made in the last couple of years, I believe, set us back rather than putting us forward, and we're seeing that now, like with Trevor Lawrence. I mean, I don't know if I like Trevor a lot, but everybody would say generational quarterback. I see a system quarterback.
Reggie, appreciate it. What about that? The Baalke, Pederson. I mean, if you had to lay blame for the abysmal start, being the worst team in football right now, to me, there's just so many people to blame. I don't know if it is one person at the top of the list.
Players aren't executing.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a coach, so I'm going to be very careful about blaming the coach for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Players play and coaches coach. Now, whether or not a guy's being developed or not, we can't make that. I mean, we can see that they're not as good as they've been.
Yeah, they're worse now than they were 2 years ago.
We can see that, but we don't know exactly what's going on in the building. I do know this. The players are not executing when they have the opportunity enough to win the football games.
Yeah, see, me and Coach are old school. Players play. And this team, over the last 4 weeks, has not played inspired football.
Out of the last 10, I mean, they've lost 9 out of 10 going back to last year.
I'm giving them you're right. You're absolutely right. But they want to play inspired football. You got to want to make plays. You got to want to make plays at every level. Offensive line, wide receivers, running back, quarterback. You are playmakers. You got to want to make plays. And this team just seems to be unmotivated at times. Now, they played better as far as offensive line, because the offensive line was embarrassed on Monday night. They played better. They played solid. They gave them solid protection. But at the crucial times, the crucial moments when we need you the most, you shrink. Ain't have that. You can't have mental bust, or you can't have physical bust when the team needs a win as bad as this team does.
Here's the only problem I've got, to go along with the caller a little bit. There was a decision made on Trayvon Walker. Everybody was burned up. I'm looking at the athlete, and I'm saying, this guy's going to be pretty good. And then I watch him and he does some good things, but he has definitely not progressed. Now, I've watched Shuey coach. I know he's coaching him on technique. I've watched him in training camp. I had my eyes on him specifically a lot. He is not transferring it onto the game field. Now, whose fault is that? You know, you can blame the coach. You can say he's not developing them, but he's got to understand that what he's doing by bull rushing a guy every down is not getting it done.
Joe Flacco, if Joshua Hines Allen doesn't play next week, he's in concussion protocol. Joe Flacco could bring his kids' homework down here next week and a Rolodex of all his friends and family, and he could just have a great time there in the backfield because the Jaguars won't sniff him without Joshua Hines Allen out there. This was the biggest fear I had coming into this season and last season. You were lucky 41 and 44 were healthy the entire year, and they both had career years. Now, this year, they're not getting to the quarterback, but at least they've been healthy. They've been out there, which enables other guys to be able to get to the quarterback. If 41 doesn't play next week, they're not going to sniff Joe Flacco. Because your starting defensive end at that point would be Trayvon Walker, and who's your other edge?
91, and he's an inside player, or else he's not played at all. And that's a decision that Baalke made, that he can be the defensive end.
Yeah.
Because he's not, first of all, he's not practicing. He didn't practice all with this week either. So,
and I wonder if that was that happened the day after they lost Ridway to the Titans. That was a PR disaster, losing Ridway to the Titans. And I wonder if that was, all right, we got all this money, let's do something with it. Let's bring in a guy I know in Eric Armstead.
Well, he's been a winner, and he's done all this, and he's a pretty good pass rusher when he's inside. He's 30 whatever years old. He can't play in. He can't get off and run a quarterback down when he gets on the perimeter.
And what's crazy to me is that he annihilated us when he was with the 49ers.
Yeah.
He totally annihilated us. Yeah. Where's that Armstead?
Yeah.
Every week here on the fifth quarter, RJ, let's call an audible. Every week on the fifth quarter, we do give you a special teams player of the game. That special teams player of the game is brought to you by Crown Royal. Another fifth quarter. I'm sure another Crown Royal going down for a lot of Jaguar fans right now. So let's do it. The special teams player of the game.
Now, it's time to showcase the Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game. Live generously and life will treat you royally.
Luckily, the Jaguars have the best punter in football, but I'm going to give it once again to the rookie Cam Little. 2 for 2, a 41-yarder, and a 52-yard field goal for the rookie out of Arkansas. So Cam Little hit both field goals, hit both extra points. He is today's Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game. We are at halftime here on the fifth quarter. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We will take you up till 8 o'clock. Steve, Michael, Chris, all you guys hang in there. You'll be up on the other side with the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy and the head coach Dave Campo. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. Glad you're with us. Fifth quarter rolls on. 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
1010XL, WJXL AM and FM, Jacksonville Beach, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. From the offseason to the postseason, nobody covers the Jaguars like 1010XL.
This college football season, we're celebrating more than touchdowns. It's time to honor playmakers of the classroom. Thanks to FIS and the College Football Playoff Foundation, Gator Bowl Charities is surprising 16 local teachers with $1,000 each week. Every honored teacher gets a special invitation to the Taxpayer Gator Bowl January 2nd to be celebrated on the field. Teachers from Clay, Duval, Nassau, and St. Johns County, grades K through 12 are eligible. Nominate a deserving teacher today, and let's score big for education at TaxpayerGatorBowl.com.
After a storm passes, the assessment of the aftermath begins. Sometimes damage to the roof is obvious, like leaks or missing shingles, broken or damaged gutters, or tree debris. But storm damage is not always as clearly present. Universal Roofing Contracting is here to help and will come assess your roof for any hidden damage. Call Universal Roof to schedule your free roof inspection at 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
Hey sports fans, it's Ace Carline from MyBookie. We're getting a lot of love through the text line with people cashing in. I've been betting too. It makes these games so much more fun, and I just bet a small amount. This weekend, the Vikings visit the Packers in a divisional game. Both of these defenses have been good this year. Give me the under 45.5 at MyBookie. Your home team is an underdog again versus the Houston Texans. If you're into winning money, take that bet. Texans -6.5. And how about Sunday Night Football? I'm seeing nothing but fireworks here with the Bills and the Ravens. Give me the over of 46.5. You got to try MyBookie. For a limited time, MyBookie is bringing back the double deposit bonus. You need to get started now. Use my promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your very first deposit. You heard that right. Double your money with 1010XL before you even place a bet. Sign up, use that promo code 1010XL to claim your double deposit bonus. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime with MyBookie.
Lickety Split AC Plumbing and Electric is now hiring. If you have a 5-star mentality to provide world-class custom plumbing or electrical solutions, you should work with Lickety Split. Their team is incredibly supportive, positive, and dedicated to being the best. If you have a valid driver's license with at least 18 months of experience, apply at Lickety Split, an equal opportunity employer offering competitive pay, a service truck, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Hiring management positions too. Visit licketysplitfl.com.
It's not just about relaxing. Fishing can be exciting.
That's a big fish in the box right there.
Captain Kevin and the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss and Veterans Wholesale Cabinets.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010 a.m.
Hey, John, my dad, Randy Marion's gone absolute Cadillac crazy. You won't believe our Escalade lineup.
Well, how crazy we talking, Jennifer?
Buckle up, folks. We've got over 35 Cadillac Escalades.
35 Escalades? That's luxury overload.
I'm talking fully loaded models, cutting-edge tech, and that signature Cadillac style.
And the deals are even more luxurious. $4,000 Escalade loyalty rebate.
Plus 5% off MSRP on retired courtesy vehicles. Head to Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
Plus tax tag title 899 MNP and resist all.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is the window world of Northeast Florida 5th quarter. Presented by Von Rowan Law on 1010XL.
Dropping is Trevor. Looking, fires right side. The ball's caught by Christian Kirk near the pylon. Touchdown! Trevor Lawrence to Christian Kirk for the score, and the Jags have taken the lead.
Frank Frangie on the call, Jaguars radio. Trevor Lawrence to Christian Kirk for the touchdown that gave the Jaguars the lead. A lead, of course, they would not hold as Houston comes back and wins the game 24-20. Every week here on the 5th quarter, we do give you a play of the game. That play of the game is brought to you by Performance Painting. Let's do it right now. The Performance Painting play of the game.
Now the Performance Painting high performance play of the game. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Leon, seriously, we have loved on Brian Thomas Jr. today, but let's give a little love to Christian Kirk as well. Second game in a row, it looked like the old Christian Kirk. He had the touchdown. He ends up with 7 grabs, 61 yards, and that score. Of course, it should have been 8 for over 102 scores, but Trevor missed him when he was wide open down the field. I'm sorry, that's just hard to not mention. That was horrible. Having said that, Christian Kirk, the catches that Trevor did give him an opportunity to catch, he had the play of the game today.
Yeah, it's good to see that Christian Kirk is back. Yeah, recovered from an injury last year, but still got the speed, still got the whereabouts to find the end zone, so that was a hell of a catch and a hell of a run.
There's a lot of, I won't say rumors, I guess they are rumors about the trade deadline coming up in a couple of weeks. The Jaguars look like they're out of competition. Christian Kirk is a name that you maybe hear because of his contract. You're 4 games in, Coach. Does there come a point when we see it in Major League Baseball and the NBA all the time? The NFL not so much, although that's changed a little bit when teams that are out of it might start dumping people to get draft picks.
Yeah, I think it's too early. You 1 in 100, you made the playoffs after.
Oh yeah, the only 0-4 team to make the playoffs, I believe, was in 1992.
Yeah, well, there was one.
There was
one.
There
could always be 2.
This is like the Little Giants. One time.
Yeah, there was one. And so, to me, I think it's way too early to speculate on that. Now, when is the trade deadline?
It's usually around week 8, week 9.
Yeah, see, because now you're going to have a really good indication of where we're going on week 8 and week 9. Then you might have to consider it. Think about it.
Interesting times, no question about that. Let's go over to the state of North Carolina. Let's get Michael in here on the 5th quarter. Michael, I hope being in North Carolina, you're okay from the storm, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me. I'm actually a season ticket holder. I'm
from Jacksonville. I just recently moved to Raleigh for job purposes, but I come down there all the time for the games. And to me, to be honest with you, Trevor Lawrence is not our guy. I know the organization probably paid him because he was the best option that we had, and who else were you going to go with at that time? And considering what fans of Jacksonville have been going through for years, we were starving for a solidified quarterback, but obviously he falls under pressure. He's not when situations get rough, it's kind of like he loses control of the game. Whereas it doesn't take 4 to 5 years for that to happen. As you can see, quarterbacks like C.J. Stroud are coming in, Bo Nix are coming in and controlling the game. Trevor Lawrence is not the fact. It's not Doug Pederson. It's not the play calling. It's not the defense. Defense plays well enough to where we can actually win games. They may not shut a team down, but they play good enough to where we can win games. It's Trevor Lawrence. I think we gave him too much money, and I hope there's some type of clause in there where we can take that back because he's hurting us, man, and you can see it. He does not have confidence, and he just doesn't look like he has the arm, and you can tell the receivers are kind of getting tired of it.
Michael, appreciate it. Well, the hay's in the barn, Leon. The bed's been made, man. I mean, that Trevor's your guy for the next 6-7 years minimum. So if he's not the guy, he better become the guy really, really quick.
I mean, he doesn't play with any confidence, bro. I mean, those overthrows, man, I'm sure he's made those throws when he was in freaking high school. You can't miss out on those type of throws. I mean, when I say lack of concentration, lack of commitment, that's what it is. You got to make those throws. Now, we complained about the offensive line not giving them protection to make those throws. Now, when you run the ball and you play action, now you got the opportunity to make those throws, so you got to hit them. You can't miss on those throws.
I mean, the art of a head coach with the psychology of today's player. I mean, if you're Doug Pederson, I mean, you know Trevor for going on 3 years now. I mean, do you sit him down and say, what's the deal? I mean, what do you do when a guy's lost confidence?
I was a head coach, 5'11", 5'11", and 5'11". I'm not sure that I did anything with Quincy Carter.
Well, you didn't have Trevor Lawrence, though, as a quarterback.
I will say this. To me, they had to pay him. That's just my opinion. Because I sat through 5 that couldn't play at all. This guy can play. We have to bank on the fact that whether it's next week or next year, we got to surround him with better players. It's very simple. Because he has enough talent to do it, we've got to make sure that he has an opportunity to do it week in and week out. And that's not happening right now. Last week, it was the offensive line didn't do anything. This week, it was him. Last week, the defense gave up 500 yards. This week, we hung in there, but we still didn't really shut them down, if you really want to. They did score 24 points. So this team is not very good right now, along with Trevor Lawrence, what he can do.
Leon, we've talked about this time and time again. There are no Tony Basellis, Leon Searcy's, Gary Walker's, Kevin Hardy's, Tony Bracken's in that locker room. Because I would imagine, whether it's Brunell or Jimmy, Keenan, whomever, if somebody wasn't performing, you guys had absolutely no problem with going to that person and say, hey, you need to figure this out. You need to figure it out now. I just don't think we have anybody in that locker room who's going to tell that to Trevor Lawrence.
Well, I mean, because these kids, I mean, these players nowadays, they're emotionally attached. They're soft, let me go and say it, without the T. All right? They can't take any criticism. Because back in the day, when I played with the guys that I played with, no one would exempt. The team was more important than your feelings. All right? Hey, listen, you come at me, they come at Bo, they come at Jimmy. No, listen, we would just have a heartfelt conversation with them. Now, the problem is, it wasn't too often where we didn't play up to par. That's the thing. We played at an elite level, game in, game out. So you ain't really have to come to, because we took it upon ourselves to not look bad, to rep the city, to rep the Jaguars. And if it was a certain guy who wasn't getting it done, we would tell him, hey, bro, step it up. Now, me and Bo used to have conversations with the interior of our offensive line all the time. When we felt like they gave up a pressure and stuff like that, we'd get on the sideline and we'd lighten their ass. We would, because we're bigger than you. The team is bigger than just one person. And if you're not getting it done, you got to find a way to get it done, or we're gonna find someone to replace you.
See, and I'm saying that who on this team is playing well enough to do that? I can't tell you one guy on that defense.
Got to say Logan Cook is playing.
Well,
good.
yeah, but nobody's listening to Logan Cook. I can guarantee you. But I don't see anybody that's playing well enough to step up and get after somebody.
If you're on the phone line right now, we will get to you. Let's get one more quick one on this side. Let's go to the south side. Get Steve in here on the fifth quarter. Steve, what do you got?
Yo, what's up, Hack? I'll make it real quick so I can hear the comments off the air. I had a bunch of notes that I was going to pass blame on, but I agree with the caller from North Carolina. This is completely on 16. He's got to get out of his own head. Clearly, I'm not an NFL athlete, so I don't know what that feels like to have pressure like that on you. But at the same time, he's got to hit the passes that are wide open. He's costing us the game. It is completely on him. But I have a question for Coach. At some point, do you take him out and put Mac Jones in, even if you've got to weather it for a little bit, just to see if it's going to turn the tide? Because clearly what we're doing right now is not working, and it's not necessarily fair to the fans, but it's not fair for his teammates. It's not fair for the defense. It's not fair for the coaching staff. It's not fair for anybody.
Steve, thank you for the phone call.
Well, my answer to that would be that as soon as he takes him out, he's taking himself out. If he takes him out of the game and make it look like it's his fault, then he's not going to be here at the end of the year. I'm talking about the coach that takes him out. It's very simple to me. That guy, we paid him. He's the guy. You said it. He's the guy going forward. Find a way to supplement him or get him better. It's not going to do you any good. They take him out right now. One team, I'm going the opposite direction. One team in 100 makes the playoffs after 0-4. So you think Mac Jones coming off the bench? It's Mac Jones, right?
Yeah.
I don't even know who he is. Mac Jones coming off the bench is going to make the difference on whether this team goes forward or backward. It's not going to happen.
No, I agree with that. It is the Window World of Northeast Florida fifth quarter. We're presented by Von Rowan Law with the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy, the head coach Dave Campo. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. All phone calls tonight are courtesy of the Garber Auto Mall phone line. If you're on the line, that's you, Steve, that's you, Chris, that's you, Michael. We'll get to you. If you want to get in, we have room for you potentially. We're with you for another 35 minutes or so. 0-4. That is reality. The Jaguars, now one of only two teams in the National Football League that still do not have a win to their name here in 2024.
There are many ways to experience 1010XL.
The key to this whole thing is their computer.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
Get me that computer program. Yes, sir.
At 1010XL.
Hey, Prosser here to save you some cash. Maximize your home sale now with the market experts who deliver more money in less time, and those experts are Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades needed to sell your home. You don't have to worry. The worries are relieved with Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts we are trusting and recommending with the sale of your home. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Mortgage rates are down. It's time to create your market. Marvin in Cobblestone writes, my siblings and I moved our parents to Maryland so they can get some extra help as they get older. Next, we had to sell the home to get them some financial help for their extra care. We hired Chad and Sandy, and they delivered big. Chad and Sandy's team got our home sold in 7 days above asking price. You can too. Call Chad and Sandy today, 904-414-6200, or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Have you tried golfing at the improved Cimarron Golf Club? If you haven't, I tell you what, you're missing out on the best deal in Jacksonville. Now,
postcard in the mail. And, of course, if you bring that with you, $45 plus tax to play. That includes a cart lunch and a beer at the brand-new Stone Barrel Tap House. Now, go to the website, that is CimarronGolfClub.com, and sign up for the Wild One Loyalty Program. That's the Wild One Loyalty Program, and get all of these specials emailed to you from Cimarron.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey everyone, it's football season and we wanted to go to the drawing board to make this year's predictions. Let's compare our two blonde all-stars. Most touchdowns, best pricing in the market. Most passing yards, gives the most for your trade. Most receptions, free oil changes with every purchase. Super Bowl champion, wow customer service. This looks like a winning season for everyone. Come see Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville where you can score big all season long.
When they were little, the other girls played with dolls.
Aww.
They played with footballs.
Yes, it's us.
Helmets and heels.
From the First Coast Lighting Studios at 1010XL.
Weekdays noon to 2.
Some girls have all the fun.
Wow, John, my Clearwater sprinkler system looks great.
All right, Frank, let's go ahead and program your Rainbird timer. How many minutes do you want the zones to run?
John, I think we run from the front 20, the sides 15, the back 10, the garden 5. Clearwater scores!
Well, that's a first, Frank, but you're the boss.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage to
ClearwaterJags.com.
This college football season, we're celebrating more than touchdowns. It's time to honor playmakers of the classroom. Thanks to FIS and the College Football Playoff Foundation, Gator Bowl Charities is surprising 16 local teachers with $1,000 each week. Every honored teacher gets a special invitation to the Taxslayer Gator Bowl January 2nd to be celebrated on the field. Teachers from Clay, Duval, Nassau, and St. Johns County, grades K through 12 are eligible. Nominate a deserving teacher today and let's score big for education at TaxslayerGatorBowl.com.
The average cost associated with childhood cancer is a startling $833,000. This is Tom Coughlin, and September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Help the J Fund raise awareness to help our neighbors and community members tackling this devastating disease. Visit tcjfund.org/September for more information.
Lickety Split AC Plumbing and Electric is now hiring. If you have a 5-star mentality to provide world-class custom plumbing or electrical solutions, you should work with Lickety Split. Their team is incredibly supportive, positive, and dedicated to being the best. If you have a valid driver's license with at least 18 months of experience, apply at Lickety Split, an equal opportunity employer offering competitive pay, a service truck, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Hiring management positions too. Visit licketysplitfl.com.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, the window world of Northeast Florida, 5th quarter. Presented by Von Rowan Law on 1010XL.
dropping his Stroud. Looking, fires back in the end zone, caught for the touchdown. It was Nico Collins. You called it. He beat Andre Cisco in the back of the end zone, and the Texans have taken the lead.
Frank Franchi on the call, Jaguars Radio, Texans 24, Jaguars 20. The Jags now 0-4 on the year. Your phone calls coming up, but every week here on the 5th quarter, we do give you a drive of the game. That drive of the game is brought to you by Randy Marion Cadillac. RJ, let's do it right now. The Randy Marion Cadillac drive of the game.
Now, the Randy Marion Cadillac drive of the game. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.
The Jacksonville Jaguars did basically nothing in the second half with the exception of one very good drive. 7 plays, 74 yards, took 4 minutes off the clock. Trevor Lawrence to Christian Kirk. That gave the Jaguars the lead at one point. Obviously, they did not hold on to it. but that 7-play, 74-yard, 4-minute drive in the second half is this week's Randy Marion Cadillac drive of the game. I got something for you guys quickly before we go back to the phones that I haven't mentioned yet. I mentioned it on the YouTube show, the Duval Rundown that we do before the fifth quarter. So, rewind the clock back 21 days ago, opening day against Miami. 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Jaguars are in a tie ball game. It's all in front of you. 4 minutes to go. Let's go. A couple of first downs, getting a field goal range. Let's win it. 3 and out. Horrific offense. The Jaguars punt. They never see it again. Miami kicks a game-winning field goal. Oh, we're going to watch the tape and make the corrections. And, we're going to get better from this. We're going to learn from it. Learning experience. Here we are 21 days later. Now you're up 3. 4 minutes to go. Couple of first downs. Offense, go out there and win the game. And just like 21 days ago, horrific offense, 3 and out. You punt the ball, and you basically never see it again. They lost 2 games, Miami and today, in essentially the same exact fashion in the last 4 minutes. That's what's so frustrating, Coach.
Yeah, that's frustrating, and I'm kind of shocked that they threw the ball twice there. I mean, somewhere along the line, you just have to say, hey, look, we need to punt this football, but we're going to use a bunch of time and make them execute. They gave them plenty of time. They had 3 minutes.
They took 46 seconds off the clock.
46 seconds came off the clock.
Now, you can have a lot of fun in 46 seconds. That can be, a lot of time for certain things, but in football, it's not one of them.
That's correct. Yeah.
Well, what the sad thing about it is, I know, and Coach knows, we do this. The coaching staff always puts us in situational football, okay? And 2-minute drill, 4-minute drill, all that kind of stuff. 3rd and short, 3rd and long, whatever. Put us in those kind of things. And you're expected to execute at a high level. And the 4-minute football is usually, and this is a little old school, is usually too tight. And all you want to do is run the ball, wind down the clock, get yourself in a situation where it's 2nd and 5, run the ball again, a little sweep, a little counter, whatever, get yourself in 3rd and 1 and see if you can execute it and get the first down, and then the game is over. This team doesn't do that. And I know they work on it. They don't do it. Well, they ran the ball one time, the first time, and then pass. Knowing that you want to take time off the clock, why would you throw the ball?
Because you don't have an offensive line you believe in, would be my assumption.
And the reason that they threw it was they don't have a defense that they really believe in either.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they would have run the clock down.
Yeah, just the same exact scenario. 4 minutes to go at Miami, at Houston. The offense did nothing. Nothing in either game. Let's go to Fernandino. Let's get Michael in here on 1010XL. Michael, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Just following up on my call from earlier about Trevor having that dog in him. I'm just curious, when the front office gives a guy that much money, and I completely understand, we saw in 2022, he went toe-to-toe with Lamar, toe-to-toe with Dak, toe-to-toe with Herbert, took the Chiefs to the brink. Like, I get all that, but, like, when it's obvious he ain't got it, like, do guys start to look at a dude a little sideways when he's getting a little more money than he probably should?
Michael, appreciate it. Leon, what's your thought there? Do guys look at players that maybe aren't earning their contract?
Well, can't nobody look at Trevor like that because ain't nobody playing worth a damn in the locker room. So whether he got the bag or not, and whether you are envious of him getting the bag, your play is not conducive to what you making. Ain't nobody in there making their money because they're on 4. So, I mean, yeah, you can be in the locker room and say, hey, he ain't playing well, but how you playing? You don't play well if you're on the 0-4 team. Nobody. So no one's exempt. So if you mad at Trevor for the bag, then maybe you should do something to legitimize why you getting paid what you getting paid.
Coach, one of the things I was thinking about, I didn't think the Jaguars were going to win the Super Bowl, right? But I picked them 9-8, maybe 10-7. I think we all were in kind of that ballpark. And I normally, like to think I know a little bit about the Jaguars. I'm stunned they're 0-4. They're the worst team in football.
Yeah,
I'm stunned. I'm at a loss as to how we got here. Are you as stunned as I am?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I looked at it and I thought, well, there's a possibility we could be 2-2. first ones. But then you look at this ball game and you look at the first one, and legitimately we could be 2-2. You know, wouldas and couldas of candy and nuts. It's a Merry Christmas. But at the same time, we could have been 2-2, and we'd be disappointed. Now we're stunned because we're 0-4. Yeah. That's why I'm not ready to just give up on them. I'm ready to say, okay, let's get ready for the next ball game. Not worry about 1-100, but worry about the Colts, and then see what happens from there. Now the chances of them going to playoffs are probably slim, maybe slim and none. I don't know.
I would say extremely slim.
Yeah.
One team in the last 32 years has started 0-4 and made the playoffs.
So that means we got a chance.
I guess. I mean, that, you know, it has happened
be one
before.
More.
Yeah. Let's go to Oakleaf. Let's get Steve in here on the fifth quarter on 1010XL. Steve, what do you got?
Hey, Hacker. Hey, Coach. Hey, Leon. Mostly covered most of the points that I had. Hope y'all did well during the storm. I agree with Hacker. They should go off the field goal. Anytime you go into a hostile environment on the road, take the points. I don't care. Even just on the one. It kind of seems like Trevor's been pressing ever since he got paid. It might be a mental thing. He's missed some easy throws an average NFL quarterback should make. And Coach Pederson goes in the podium and continuously says players need to execute. Leon, you played in the league. I'm just curious, how many times can a coach go up there and say that before he loses the actual locker room? Eventually, someone has to be held accountable for the play calling. Running for it twice, or running once in a 4-minute situation and throwing it twice, 2 incomplete passes, essentially gave Houston 2 free timeouts.
Steve, appreciate it. Yeah, I noticed that too. That Doug's come out and he said we need to coach better, but he's made a point that players need to execute better. Are players going to get fed up with that pretty quick if he's putting accountability on them and not taking any for himself?
No, because he's telling the truth. I mean,
he's telling the truth through the media eyes of Leon Searcy, but if you're a player in that locker room and you hear your head coach saying, well, my guys need to execute better, well, wait a minute. What about some of the stuff you're doing?
Bro, when you 0-4, your verbiage is minimum at best. What you going? He's telling what he needs to say. This team does not execute at a very high level. You know, it's one thing to do your job, but do your job better. You know what I'm saying? The average teams, Coach was on Super Bowl teams. The reason why they won Super Bowls is because those guys executed at a level that you couldn't compete with. Listen, I watched the Great Wall of Dallas. Them guys, I'm talking about Pro Bowler to Pro Bowler. They would block to the echo of the whistle. That's what made them great. Their defense would rush you to the echo of the whistle. It's one thing to give effort, but it's then another thing to give great effort. And that's what this team doesn't do. Doesn't give great effort.
Back to the phone lines we go, to the north side with Zach in here on 1010XL. Zach, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I hear all the conversation about Trevor missing throws, but I think it's a little more than that. I mean, he's just not making real smart football decisions. He's locking in on receivers, even when they got 2 and 3 defenders on him, and still trying to fit the ball in there. And just answer this question for me is, on the play where they were at the goal line, where they didn't make it in, they went for it on 4. On the first and second play, if he had just made a decision to pull the ball out and run the ball, I think he would have had a better chance. But at this particular point, I think we got to stop just looking at Trevor. We got to start looking at the coaches, and that's on Shad Khan. Somebody shouldn't be there Monday morning. I don't know whether it's press or somebody, but somebody shouldn't be there.
Zach, thank you. Again, 4 games in, there's 13 of these to go, right? 13 games left, which can be a good or a bad thing at this point. I think this next 3 games is going to be tough to do anything because Coughlin going in the Pride on Sunday, then you're going to London. I don't think you want to rock the boat too much with the way the schedule is. Now, after London, when it settles back a little bit, then you're halfway home. The bye week's coming up. Well, the bye week's late this year. Then we actually may see something. But I think for the next 3 weeks, what you got is probably what you got, regardless of the outcomes, barring a catastrophe next week against Indianapolis. So we'll see. We'll come back, some final thoughts. We'll give you an injury update, and we'll try to get some positivity out of Coach Campo and out of Leon at 0-4. We may try to squeeze another call or two if we have time. We certainly appreciate you guys being with us here on the Window World of Northeast Florida. Fifth quarter, we're presented to you by Von Rowan Law here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Jacksonville 0-4 on the year, but if you're looking for a silver lining, don't look here because I really don't have one right now.
Joe C. for Hard Rock Bet. It's the sports book for every kind of player. Straightforward, simple enough for the first-time bettor, but filled with all the features experienced players expect. Plus, try it now. If your first bet doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $100. Easy deposits and fast withdrawals. PayPal, Venmo, and more. All you have to do to get started is download the Hard Rock Bet app. Go online, hardrock.bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Jacksonville, are you ready? The college basketball season is tipping off with an epic in-state showdown. The Florida Gators and South Florida Bulls go head-to-head in the Jacksonville Sports Foundation Invitational. Be there Monday, November 4th at Veterans Memorial Arena and witness this in-state rivalry live. Secure your seats now at Ticketmaster.com. It's Florida versus South Florida to start the college basketball season on November 4th in Jacksonville. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
After a storm passes, the assessment of the aftermath begins. Sometimes damage to the roof is obvious, like leaks or missing shingles, broken or damaged gutters, or tree debris. But storm damage is not always as clearly present. Universal Roofing Contracting is here to help and will come assess your roof for any hidden damage. Call Universal Roof to schedule your free roof inspection at 855-ROOF-HELP or visit universalroof.com. License number CCC 057165, ZBC 1258484.
Injured in an accident that's not your fault? Don't worry, Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan at Von Rowan Law, and over the past 20 years, I have fought to recover millions for my clients throughout Jacksonville. If you've been injured in an accident, have mounting medical bills, can't work, don't worry. Zach's got your back. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve and will be there every step of the way. Go to Zach'sGotYourBack.com to set up your free consultation with me today. Zach'sGotYourBack.com.
Jags Hall of Famer Tony Baselli puts on his gold jacket every Monday morning at 7:20 on The Drill.
Does look good.
It's Hall of Fame Monday with Tony Baselli.
Good? It's great.
Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida on 1010XL.
Attention veterans, the Fed has done it. They've lowered interest rates, the moment we've all been waiting for. And at Loan Pronto, they've lowered mortgage rates along with it. It's Prosser here from my friends at Loan Pronto. Listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6%, Loan Pronto can do a streamlined refi, lower your monthly payment with no income verification and no appraisal. Veterans can now access up to 100% of their home's equity and turn that into cash. You can get 50, 75, even 100 grand or more with no junk fees and no hassle with an APR in the low fives. So, you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, and car loans. Veterans typically cut their monthly payment by $850. At Loan Pronto, they respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now for a free rate quote with no credit pull. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com, WM.com, and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's The Mangler. Go Team WM, and as always, Duval!
Thermal Engineers is hiring. Thermal Engineers is a commercial HVAC contractor serving North Florida for over 20 years. Qualified technicians and installers, how does top pay, 401k, and full benefits sound, and a signing bonus? Is it time for a positive change in your career? Join the family-oriented commercial HVAC contractor at Thermal Engineers. Call 230-1172 or go to Thermal Engineers, Inc., an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, John, my dad, Randy Marion's got
gone absolute Cadillac crazy. You won't believe our Escalade lineup.
Well, how crazy we talking, Jennifer?
Buckle up, folks. We've got over 35 Cadillac Escalades.
35 Escalades? That's luxury overload.
I'm talking fully loaded models, cutting-edge tech, and that signature Cadillac style.
And the deals are even more luxurious. $4,000 Escalade loyalty rebate.
Plus 5% off MSRP on retired courtesy vehicles. Head to Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
Plus tax tag title $8.99 MNP and resist all.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more, and please drink responsibly.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, putting an extra 60 minutes on the clock. The window world of Northeast Florida fifth quarter. Presented by Von Rowan Law on 1010XL.
Play fake. Goes to the back of the end zone. Caught for the touchdown. The Jags strike first. How good is that? Right out of the gate. Brian Thomas Jr. for the score.
Frank Frangie on the call, Jaguars radio. If there was any positives today, I guess, Brian Thomas Jr. would be one. Ventrell Miller would be the other. A couple of the young Jaguars performing very, very well. But 0-4 is 0-4. Tennessee is 0-3, and currently of the 32 NFL teams, just the Titans and the Jaguars are the only two that have not won a game yet in 2024. Every week here on the fifth quarter, we do give you an injury update. That injury update is brought to you by Farah and Farah. Let's do it right now, RJ. The Farah and Farah injury update.
The personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah present this injury update. Farah and Farah,
Jacksonville,
exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
ETN left the game with a shoulder, but obviously came back. The big one is Joshua Hines-Allen. Left the game for an evaluation on concussion, did not come back. Obviously, that means he's probably in the protocol. Who knows what that means for his availability. But when you just add Aluakin on IR, Campbell on IR, Savage and Ingram, and today Devin Lloyd, and now Aluakin, it's kind of salt in the wound, Leon, for where the Jaguars are. They're not winning any games, and they have a lot of guys banged up.
Well, ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for him.
No.
Absolutely ain't nobody. You gotta figure out a way to win a football game. That's what you gotta do. You gotta get fed up enough to figure out a way to win a football game. All right, you're handsomely paid to play a game. So, figure it out.
Coach, Devin Lloyd and Aluakin missed today. Ventrell Miller was awesome. When Devin Lloyd, particularly Devin Lloyd, but Aluakin as well, are ready to come back, Ventrell Miller's got to stay on the field in some capacity, correct?
Yeah, I would say if Aluakin comes back, it'll be Aluakin and Ventrell. If 33's available, I still think he stays on the field next week with what he did today.
I would tend to agree with that. Let's get as many of these phone calls in as we can. We got about 6 minutes to go. Let's go to Mayport, get Xavier in here on the fifth quarter. Xavier, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, guys? First and foremost, what I would like to say is Trent Baalke is just a terrible GM, and his seat's just got to be getting hotter and hotter. I mean, he's going on 0 for 2 for his head coaches. Not just that, his draft experiments have been a failure, and it shows on the football field. And sooner down the line, it's going to come down to the chopping block: Baalke, Pederson, Press Taylor. But whoever the next coach is that comes in here, I don't feel like they want to be bound and tied to Trevor Lawrence. So I just wanted to get y'all's input on that. I'll take my comments up there.
Xavier, appreciate it. Again, there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah.
He's making $275 million, guys. Trevor Lawrence is going to be here.
Talent, okay? There'll be somebody that wants this job.
Yes.
Because of him, not tied to him. Now, whether or not, because everybody thinks they can fix the guy in the coaching business. They think that if I come in, I'll get him fixed. So that's not an issue. Baalke, on the other hand, I think there's going to be concern. There's concern with everybody about the whole situation right now.
Leon, we've seen this song and dance time and time again. The head coach is gone, but the GM remains. Or the GM is gone and the head coach remains. At some point, Shad Khan just needs to do this. Wipe his hands of everything and get new blood in here at both the GM and the head coach and get them on the same time frame.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And they're both of them getting dude in is going to have a lot to do with Trevor's play. If Trevor keeps regressing, I mean, it's going to be costly to both of them. I mean, he's going to be the one that is going to get the GM and the head coach fired.
Let's go to Cincinnati. Let's get Ryan in here on the fifth quarter. Ryan, what's going on?
Hey, fellas, how y'all doing?
Oh, Ryan, we're just wonderful, man. How are you?
Well, heck, I'll be doing a lot better. We held on to that win, but you know how that's being a Jag for you. But it was three people in my mind that really crumbled under the pressure to me, and one of them was Doug Impressed offensively as far as in the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. They're just passing and not trying to milk the clock and only doing 46 seconds. That's crazy. Also, Ryan Nielsen as well with his play calling. Like, I get it, we can't run man because we don't have everybody in the secondary, but I think it would have been better to run man on third down instead of zone because that boy is good against zone coverage. And then, of course, the third person would be Trevor. I don't know about, but it's just like he folds under the spotlight, and that's crazy because he's a winner. He's been winning all his life. So I just don't understand where it's gone. Like you should be wanting to play better with a contract. You know, you shouldn't be scared because you got a contract. You should be ready to ball out.
Ryan, thank you for the phone call. What's your assessment of the Ryan Nielsen part of this? We talked about him today.
Well, first of all, I think they did what they were supposed to do as far as getting out of the man all the time. They were in some man coverage on third downs. But the thing that hurt them more than anything else was they're just now getting into the zones. It's like a reverse of last year. Last year, they were a zone team and then tried to play man. They couldn't play man. Now, you know, what they're trying to do is they're playing man, and then when they play zone, they're just spot dropping. And if you don't get pressure on the quarterback, there's going to be openings. There's no question about it. And I just don't think they played cover two very well. I thought they were too soft. The safeties were too deep, and the linebackers weren't smooth on where exactly they were supposed to be dropping.
Hacker, I get this text from Donovan Darius, one of the greatest Jaguars of all time. He sends me a text and he says, our defense and safeties play too deep in alignment and coverage, 20 yards deep. This makes us miss tackles, soft, and not able to make plays in the run as well as the pass game.
I mean, that's where we are.
And I coach Double D, so he knows we're on the same page.
No, there's a lot of guys you can point out, and I hate to point out, but the safety position as a whole has not been good. Correct? And you could take any of them. And maybe that's because Darnell Savage isn't back there. I don't know if Campbell has anything to do with that, and they're trying to make up for Campbell not being there. But any safety on this roster has not played well in the first month of the season.
Yeah, I don't think Cisco's had a great year so far. And
26.
Johnson he's made some mistakes, missed tackles, made a big mistake on one of the long plays against the Dolphins. And, you know, that they just haven't done extremely well, that's for sure.
We could take phone calls until midnight. Unfortunately, we got about 2 minutes to go. Let's get some positivity. 30 seconds apiece. Let's go with Coach Campo. What do you got at 0-4?
Well, my positive would be that they made some decisions going into this football game that gave them a chance to win, in my opinion. They ran the football. They play action pass. They gave themselves a chance to make some plays, which they made, and some they didn't make. We've been talking about the throws that were not hit. But I thought the combination of those two things were good. On defense, they made the decision we can't play 50% man because the teams are picking us and doing all kinds of stuff. So they tried to make a decision, and they didn't give up the home run ball. They gave up some 20 yards, 25-yard passes, but they kept them in the field and gave them a chance to be there at the end. That's the positive thing. Now, they've got to continue to find a way to get the quarterback to play well, and defensively, they've just got to play better.
We on 30 seconds.
Well, I mean, listen, you can build on the fact offensively that the offensive line played better. All right? They ran the ball effectively. Let's start there. And now you got to get Trevor. He's got to get out of his own head. He's got to make the throws that are necessary. Running Tank, running ATN. And the receivers, I mean, you got to stud and be BTJ. You got to stud. Got to use them. Christian Kirk was effective. Even Strange, except for missing that. It wasn't Strange. Who missed that game?
Luke Farrell.
Luke Farrell missed it. Got to catch those balls. But offensively, you just got to build on that. You got to build on the fact that your offensive line can at least protect you. They did show up today, unlike they didn't do on Monday night.
We'll be listening to Leon tomorrow, XL Primetime. Always appreciate it, my friend.
Got it, baby.
Coach Campo, Monday Night Coaching with Campo, tomorrow night on Hacker After Dark. And, of course, you'll hear Coach all over the 1010XL airwaves. RJ Saunders was your producer tonight. This has been the Window World of Northeast Florida, 5th quarter. We have been presented by Von Rowan Law here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Jeff Prosser will be in this studio at 6 a.m., and we will begin over 16 hours of local programming talking about your 0-4 Jacksonville Jaguars. I'll join you tomorrow night on Hacker After Dark. Have a great night, Jacksonville, and until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, enjoy being 0-4, everybody.
No reason to get excited. The thing they kindly spoke.
Live play-by-play sports were made for radio.
Well, there is advertising worth the price of admission.
And 1010XL was made for you.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a dust bunny breeder from Jacksonville, Florida, meets Steve Johnson. Welcome to the show, Steve.
It's great to be here, Alex.
Yeah, you don't have to answer in the form of a question, Steve.
What is this game show?
See, that's another question.
Are you going to ask me about air conditioners?
Yeah, okay. How about we just send the Bueller guys over and you can annoy them with all your questions? Johnny?
That's right, Steve. Bueller Air and Plumbing can answer all your air conditioning questions, repair options, replacement models, and how to make your AC last longer while saving electricity, making sure you are cool.
Where is the parking lot?
You're killing me, Steve.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
When you're behind the wheel of your car, you expect a safe journey. But what if the other driver's careless and you're injured? The responsibilities and demands on your spouse just doubled. You suddenly can't work. So what happens to your family's income? And by now, the emergency room and medical bills may be sitting on your kitchen counter. You've got some problems, and we want to hear about them. Call us at 396-5555. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family since 1979. Office, Jacksonville.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. Follow the Canes as they storm the ACC.
I'm 1010XL's JJ LaSelva, and every week I'll bring you the Miami news and notes you need to know.
The Performance Painting Hurricane Report on 1010XL. Prepare, protect, preserve.
The average cost associated with childhood cancer is a startling $833,000. This is Tom Coughlin, and September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Help the J Fund raise awareness to help our neighbors and community members tackling this devastating disease. Visit tcjfund.org/September for more information.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood's. You hear about guarantees and warranties. What is Underwood's policy?
Frank, to talk about guarantees and warranties, you have to look at our history of over 70 years in business. Underwood's entire reason for existence is and has been to offer fine products that will be used with such satisfaction that both the giver and the receiver will want to come back. And hopefully they'll tell their friends about us. To do this means we've got to try our hardest to satisfy every customer. All of our people understand that. Now, I'm sure over the years we've made a few mistakes, but we've never failed to make good on any Underwood product that was returned with a legitimate customer complaint. Our entire reputation would mean nothing if we didn't conduct ourselves that way. Simply put, conducting our business with integrity is a lot more important to Underwood's and our customers than all the guarantees, warranties, and contrived legal obligations in the world. And you've got Underwood's word, my word, and all of our people's word on that.
Underwood's in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Homeowners, listen up. The Fed has taken action, lowering rates for the first time in years, and Loan Pronto has followed suit by lowering mortgage rates big time. Prosser here. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.59% APR, the lowest in 2 years. Whether you got your loan last month or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto and dump that high-rate loan. You can lock in a lower rate fast with virtually no paperwork and usually no appraisal. There's no limit on how many times you can refi, so get started. Even if you're in process with another lender, give Loan Pronto a call. If you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Purchase loans available as well, so call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLS consumeraccess.org.
This is the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM and FM. Jacksonville Beach. 1010XL. Home sweet home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. 1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is 1010XL. We now join regular programming.
This is the Jody Mack Show.
Love your show, Jody Mack. Love your show. It's not comparable. There is nobody even close.
What up, Jody Mack? What up?
I've got 4 hours to chat you up about everything going on in the world of sports.
I'll be listening.
Here's Jody Mack.
It is a shorty show, a shorty Mack attack for you on Sunday night / evening, depending on what time and what part of the great United States you're listening in. Your pal Jody Mack here to hang with you for, count them, 2 hours. It's only 2. But the 2 is much like the Saturday night 4. It's just a little short, a little bit more condensed. But we'll try and get a whole heck of a lot into the 2 hours that we have, including